You're watching Nevada Business Chronicles. Take a journey with us to see the innovative businesses that put Nevada on the business map. Connecting you with the businesses, events, and organizations that bring innovation and prosperity to the Nevada area, please welcome your host, Mitch Burney.
Corporate event, casino event, wedding, or just a reason for celebration and to party, this is your girl. This is Tracy Schroeder, McClain's mobile DJ. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Tell me a little bit about McClain's mobile DJ, how you got started in the industry. You have quite a number of years worth of experience.
I actually started my DJ career right after college, which I majored in radio and TV, but I was the electric lunch girl on a classic rock and roll station in Millshoe, Texas.
Yeehaw.
Years ago, Texas. And then I moved to Dallas, and as part-time work, I started DJing for weddings for Complete Music. And they've been in the business forever. But it was back when it was cassette tapes, which I don't know how I survived that. So now, obviously, it's so much easier because all my music is on the computer and at my fingertips. I can pull up a song by artist or title, and we have clean digital edits, which is great.
What are cassettes? First of all, there's no way you look far too young to have remembered the days of a cassette.
That was brutal now that I think about it because it was so hard. You had to get one song ready on this deck and fast forward this deck. It was insane. So now it's a lot easier.
So tell me when you opened or started McClain's Mobile DJ.
So McClain's Mobile Music and DJ was actually started by Bill McClain. He is my awesome brother-in-law. He started it in 1982. And I actually bought the business a couple years ago, and we've just grown exponentially. It's been incredible.
Exponential success may be an understatement because I've known you through this process. And your company has grown, and there's a number of reasons why you've grown. You now have how many DJs?
I have 5 DJs.
And you run a full year, around the year, through all the different seasons, all the different events. A lot of people are not familiar with the difference between, your standard mobile entertainment and hiring a professional company like yourself. So let's talk a little bit about being licensed and insured, because there's a lot of
reasons to be insured.
There are. and I don't think everybody really understands that. So tell me a little bit about the liability part of having an entertainer come that isn't insured and what risk that presents to the organization or party.
The reason it's important to be insured is there's a lot of liability. There's heavy equipment, you've got cords across the floor, which we actually gaffer tape. We spend a lot of time making sure our equipment is safe, but we can insure the venue as additionally insured, so if something does happen, the liability doesn't fall on my client. So the music, we actually pay a subscription to be able to play the music in public, which is a big deal because there's tons of fines that could come out for you not being licensed to play the music in public.
When somebody's hiring entertainment for their wedding, that's a big day, important day. Well, quite honestly, every event is. But when you're talking about somebody's one of the most important days of their lives, there's a lot that goes into actually providing that entertainment. And you do a lot of upfront work to make that day special. So let's talk about how you conduct a wedding properly, professionally.
As soon as a bride and groom hire us to host their wedding, and it truly is hosting it, from the first dance to the last dance, we make sure the photographer's in the loop before we do any event, because there's a lot of events that happen at a wedding. And I make sure people are where they need to be. If they're gonna toast the bride and groom, I make sure the people actually toasting are in the room, ready to go. It's a lot behind the scenes that we coordinate that you don't actually see.
There is a lot that goes into a wedding, and you just mentioned making sure the photographer is at the right place, but you also make sure that all of the accessories are in the right place. For an example, for the cake cutting, I've seen you actually set up the table, get the people there, and make sure everything's ready to go before it's announced.
Like, is the knife there? Is there a plate, napkins, forks? Because you don't want to announce it and then they're not ready. It just makes it really awkward. So behind the scenes, that's what we do. We make sure everything is ready to go.
You're kind of coordinating the entire event between the caterers, the photographers, your DJs, the guests, the toast, even the introduction coming into the room.
There are a lot of people you have to herd to make sure they're ready for the grand entrance, for toasts. Whatever's going on, you have to make sure that people are ready and in place.
Music is a big part of every wedding. You don't just show up and randomly play, you spend time planning that part of this event as well.
Absolutely.
Everybody has different taste.
So I want to understand my bride and groom's vision. Music is so important to a lot of people, and everyone has a different taste. So I have online planning tools where my bride and groom can go actually pick music that they love. And they don't have to pick our playlist for the entire evening, but I do want to know what are some of your favorite songs, because music makes people feel a certain way, and I want them to have the music that they love.
Friends, you guys can go in for cocktail hour, but if we could have immediate family stick around for some pictures, it would be most appreciated.
Mr. and Mrs. Delaney and Michael.
Now you know the moves, I'm going to teach you.
You do a variety of different events. As a matter of fact, your organization hosted the candy dance.
Right.
So tell me, that's a big event, thousands of people.
So one of the things I'm proud of with these outdoor events is we have the equipment to fill the space. So we have multiple DJs. If we had 2 stations or 3, we have the ability to do that. We've got wireless speakers where we can throw the sound to another speaker further down the road. So you can cover the whole space with sound, and it's amazing.
Here's the hula hoop competition. Everybody put your hands together for 'em.
Candy dance is only one. You've done a lot of large outdoor big events. So tell me a few of those.
We have. We've done car shows, street vibrations. We've done Brews and Blues Festival, Hot August Nights. So any of these festivals that come to town, we are absolutely thrilled to host them. We have some really fun games like Name That Tune Bingo, anywhere from 1960s to today. We've got classic commercials and TV theme shows where we have bingo cards, just like regular bingo. We play a snippet of the song. If they recognize the song and it's on their bingo card, they get 5 across and yell bingo. It's a lot of fun because people start singing along, and so those are fun for corporate events. And we also have speed quiz, which your cell phone is actually your controller. So we send a question to your phone and they answer on their phone, and that's a lot of fun too.
Tracy, we're coming up on the holiday seasons. A lot of corporate parties coming up.
Yes.
A lot of holiday parties and events throughout the festivities of the holidays. How would people go about booking McClain's mobile DJ?
Well, they can call our phone number 775-246-4550 or look us up at McClainsDJ.com.
Don't forget, licensed and insured, but more than that, professional entertainment for any event. Wouldn't think of hiring anybody else. That's Tracy Schroeder, McClain's mobile music and DJ. Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having us.
For more information on this guest or to see this show in its entirety, visit nvbusinesschronicles.com. While you're there, you can watch all of our past shows on the Chronicles page and stay connected with us by following us on our social media. Now more from Nevada Business Chronicles.
We're back with Adam Hopkins, running for sheriff in Washoe County in 2018. Adam, thanks so much for coming back.
You're welcome.
There are a couple of really important things I want to talk to you about today. In my entire lifetime, I've never seen anything quite like this. You made a commitment when you said and declared that you were going to run for Washoe County Sheriff, that you were not going to wait until you took office to make a difference. So one of the agendas that you had was community action partnerships, CAP teams, and you've had your first meeting. So tell me a little bit about community action partnerships, what you're looking to accomplish, and what this first meeting looked like.
One way I felt that I could accomplish that was to start what I've termed as community action partnerships. Well, what are those? I'm sure the citizens of Washoe County would like to know what those are. Community action partnerships are like a think tank. It's made up of people who have been through the system. They understand what happens when you are addicted to alcohol, when you're addicted to drugs, when you have mental illness. They may be family members of people who have been through those issues. Also, they are professionals in the field, so they understand how to deal with that and help people through them. So we have identified problems. I have identified some of them. The community has identified problems, and we bring these teams together in order to try to make a difference in our community. Whether that is coming up with solid ideas that we can present to the community and different agencies, or actual programs that will make a difference. I said that I would start before I was elected, and I have done that. I had my very first CAP team 2 weeks ago. We dealt with alcohol addiction, drug addiction, and mental illness. We have a team of about 10 people that sat down. We took about 2 hours, the very first meeting, and we just talked about what the issues were and the strengths that each person brought to these teams. And armed with that information, I gave them tasks to come back to the table with, and my next meeting is in 2 days. So I am hopeful, and I'm just convinced that this team is going to make an impact. What this does for the community is it starts work now, so that when I'm elected in 2018, there's no spin-up time. We will already have these ideas in place. We will already have relationships built. We will have plans made, and hopefully we will have these programs up and running.
I'm proud to say that I joined with you on this first CAP team, and it was inspirational on so many levels, because there are a group of people that are just passionate about our community as much as you are, coming together and, like you said, a think tank, putting together thoughts. Well, what can we do? How can we create? What do we want to create without any box, as you put it? Throw the box out. It doesn't exist. What can we do as a community to effectuate change in the area of drugs, alcohol, and mental health issues, and bring the services necessary to the individuals that so need them? At the same time, looking at the impact that that's going to have, positive impact on our community in the areas of reduction of crime and recidivism. And it's just so exponential to have this kind of a process going on. This is just the first of several. You're actually formulating a couple other CAP teams. So tell me about the next ones and who you're calling on to join this next group.
The next CAP team that I have formed is on domestic violence. Here's why. Because domestic violence is rampant in our community, as it is throughout the United States. And it frequently has to do with alcohol and drugs and mental illness. But here's something that I've realized in my time here in the community and in law enforcement, is that we have very few locations where we can place people who are victims of domestic violence. We just don't have the housing. And I can't stand by and let that go undealt with without trying to come up with a way to solve that problem and help the community. So I have already started this team, compiling this team. They're all volunteers. I already have people that are volunteering to be on the team, and we will start that community action partnership in November.
Like you, when I found out the depth of the problem in domestic violence in our community, the lack of resources, housing only being one of those issues, you're looking at the totality, really the core of the systemic problem of domestic battery and domestic violence. So talk to me a little bit about the other types of programs that you're looking for this team to create, along with the impact this is going to ultimately have on our community in a positive way that they just can't even wrap their brains around at the moment.
You're right, housing is not the only issue when it comes to domestic violence. I have looked at this problem from a variety of aspects. When domestic violence occurs, we frequently, as law enforcement, take the primary breadwinner out of the house. That person that's left is left to deal with the loss of that primary breadwinner. They're left with having to deal with the children that are part of the household, if there are any. And in many instances, the folks that are left in this situation have no job skills. That's part of the domestic violence that goes on. So we have to look at how we as a community can assist them in dealing with this. Instead of simply going to the house, taking the breadwinner away, the primary source of income, and then just letting them fend for themselves. So part of what I am hopeful that this CAP team will come up with are ways to provide counseling to the people that are left in the household, the wives or the husbands, the children. The children are so often affected by this. They have no say in it, and yet they are the victims. They are the unintended victims of this many, many times. And I want to deal with recidivism as it relates to domestic violence. Law enforcement has for decades gone to the same addresses over and over and over again, and we just tend to deal with these issues, these calls, the same way. We try to arrest our way out of the problem. We are not solving the problem in any way other than for that very brief moment in time. I have looked at this issue from many different angles, and so not only do I want to deal with the people that are left behind in that house, the wives and the children or the husbands, but we also need to look at how we can assist the person who is actually committing these crimes. So people that are arrested out of these incidents, which we have to do by law, my Ground Zero unit will be a perfect conduit for them. That person who may be drug addicted or alcohol addicted or have some mental illness will be able to get help while they're in jail, so that when they come out, they can go straight into wraparound services so that ultimately they get the help they need, because likely those issues are the ones that are causing these problems. So now we've dealt with the problem from the family side, dealing with wife and children and assisting them with housing and job training and whatever we can to give them counseling. And we've dealt with the abuser so that they don't get out and then come back and continue on with that same behavior that continually causes us to be going back to these homes. So what have we done? Not only have we saved a family, we may have saved a life, we have assisted children prior to them being victimized even more, and we've assisted the person who's actually committing these crimes, so that it reduces crime rate, it reduces arrests, it reduces the number of calls for service, it reduces bed days in our jail, our inmate populations. It saves the taxpayer money as well, taxpayer dollars.
It's fascinating that for so many years, you said it, we think that we can arrest our way out of the problem, and yet we still go to the same places over and over and over again. And to think that you're creating a potential to reduce permanently some of these incidences, it's so forward thinking, it's so ahead. And to start that now, before you even take office, it just shows your commitment to Washoe County, the community. This is personal to you. This isn't just, oh, elect me and I'll do this. I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm obviously the choice to be elected at the end of this, because now I've created these programs that I can continue with in the in-custody environment. Because in order to put your Ground Zero unit into the infrastructure, you have to be elected. What's the next CAP team after that? I'm just so excited about what's possible for our community.
The next CAP team I'm going to create will be in December, and it will have to do with the LGBTI community within Washoe County. This is a thriving, vibrant community that needs to be represented. As Washoe County Sheriff, I have to make sure that I am providing equal opportunity to each and every community within Washoe County. I'm the man to do that. Within my office, that's exactly what I'll do. So this CAP team has the opportunity to deal with issues related to incarceration. It has the opportunity to deal with issues regarding employment. How many officers do we have on our departments? I recently sat through a community meeting where that specific question was asked. How many LGBTI people do you have working in your departments? So as Washoe County Sheriff, I'm going to reach out to that community. I already attend the Transgender Allies Group meetings. I already communicate frequently with this population, and I am committed as Washoe County Sheriff to continuing that outreach. What that is bridging that gap between law enforcement, specifically the Washoe County Sheriff's Office, and every community within our county. That's what I'm doing. That's what I've started to do already, and that's what I will continue to do with this next CAP team on LGBTI issues starting in December. I've had 2 people within the LGBTI community already reach out to me to be part of this CAP team, so I am very, very hopeful that this is going to be a productive and very well thought through CAP team. You know, here's what really confuses me, Mitch, is that 2 years ago, even longer than that, 4 years ago, I started a training company. And I have a class based solely on LGBTI issues. I also am a published author when it comes to LGBTI. I published an article for the National Institute for Corrections. And in the last 2 years, I have not been asked once to instruct at the Washoe County Sheriff's Office, while other agencies around the country have hired me and paid for me to speak to their organizations. I don't understand why that is happening. Let me tell you, what needs to happen is I need to be elected. That's the only way that this is going to happen, and it needs to happen. So I have to be elected. It's the only way.
People need to understand that in June we have a primary election. They can elect you by a landslide then, and it doesn't even go to a general election in November. We need people to come out June 14th to vote for Adam Hopkins for sheriff. This is important. This matters, and you need to be elected. Thank you so much for joining us.
For more information on this guest or to see this show in its entirety, visit nvbusinesschronicles.com. While you're there, you can watch all of our past shows on the Chronicles page and stay connected with us by following us on our social media. Now more from Nevada Business Chronicles.
At Carpenters, we're very serious about our teachers, and we want only the finest to instruct the students in a correct manner here at the store. And John has come up with, he's studied and has quite a background. I'd like him to tell you a little bit about why he's so qualified to teach horn here at Carpenters Music World.
Thanks, Wendell. So I began studying music here in Reno. I studied with Dr. Mac McGranahan for about 11 years. Before I went off and did my undergrad at Northwestern University, where I did classical studies in the trombone. And now I'm currently finishing up my jazz degree here at UNR in Reno. So I eat, breathe, and sleep music.
That's great. Now you not only play the trombone, but you have also studied some other instruments and you're qualified to teach them.
That's right. I also offer lessons on the euphonium and tuba, and I'm also qualified to teach drums, guitar, and beginning keyboard.
That's low brass.
Yep. I like it low.
Sometimes teachers have curriculums or courses that they teach that are just like any other course that you'd find. And when I was taking lessons, I found that it was, I didn't like my first teacher, and I didn't do well. And not until I got my second teacher that understood me and understood how I felt, did I start to do well. So that's one thing I really admire and like in you also. Tell me a little bit about how you teach.
Well, thanks, Wendell. I would start by saying that my style of teaching is structured. I do have a lot of method books and classical techniques that I like to begin with. But most importantly, I feel that I like to tailor it to the individual. So depending on the level of experience and the age level of a student, I might have a different approach depending on where they've been and where they want to go with music.
So folks, I think you can see why we have John on our staff now at Carpenters Music World. With all of the instruments he teaches, we have other teachers that teach everything, including voice, here at Carpenters Music World. So if you want any kind of lesson on any kind of instrument or voice, stop by Carpenters Music World at 1090 Hitsky Lane, telephone number 775-852-7618, or catch us on the web at carpentersmusic.com.
On this guest or to see this show in its entirety, visit nvbusinesschronicles.com. While you're there, you can watch all of our past shows on the Chronicles page and stay connected with us by following us on our social media. For information on becoming a guest on our show, contact us at info@nvbusinesschronicles.com. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week at the same time for more from Nevada Business Chronicles.